Okay, hello everybody. I thought I would share my UFO encounter I had last March of 2025. I haven't done this before on here, so here we go. So basically it happened, basically first week of March. It could have been the last week of February, in between that timeline. This was seen at between 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And so I walked, basically what the story was, I walked outside just to check all the doors on the vehicles, make sure they were locked, and I just happened to look up and I saw a blue triangle craft going fairly fast above my place. And so I can't remember if it had like any kind of special design on the bottom. I can't remember that, but I remember it was really large, like you're talking the size of I don't know, maybe like a soccer field, a very large, maybe a football field or something like that, in between that for a comparison. The craft had like a blue, the craft itself was blue in color, almost like this color of blue right here, maybe a little bit lighter, but it also had like a blue aurora right around it. It was something else to see. I've never seen that before. Never seen this type of sighting before. This is the first time this has happened. So I had an interaction. So basically I looked up, and for some reason I said, I hope you guys are doing all right. And that was when the craft passed over, and this happened in southern Ontario. So after that happened, I thought, okay, that's that. But then at between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning, I had a telepathic communication. So they asked me to come outside. I didn't go outside, which I regret doing, and I'm sure they know I regret doing that, but that was the first time I had clear communication in my head that woke me right out of my sleep. So it kind of just startled me a little bit. It wasn't like it wasn't negative, it was just like, wow, this really happened, and I was kind of startled over that. So what else? So I'm going to try and give you a description of the voice. Now, to me, the voice didn't sound like it was male or female. It sounded like, I don't know what the proper word here to use, like maybe non-binary. It was clear English. It was just a neutral type voice. The demeanor I picked up, it seemed peaceful. I had no aggression or nothing like that. That's how I felt during that. But like I said, the initial communication from them to me was just it just kind of thought, wow, it just kind of, I didn't know what to do. I wasn't scared or nothing. It just kind of, not everybody's ready for that for the first time, so you could imagine. What else happened here? So later on, I met a psychic medium. I'm not going to mention her name or nothing like that, because just for her own privacy. And but the way I met her was kind of a weird synchronicity on its own. It's kind of like a whole nother story. Maybe I'll do that in another video. But she was able to, I told her about this event, and she was able to go back, and she was able to look inside the craft, and she gave me, I asked her what the beings looked like. First off, the beings, they saw her when she peered in, from what I remember her telling me. They were obviously highly intelligent, and she told me that they had blue skin, and they had like spikes on their heads, and that's about, and they made like a clacking sound when they spoke in their language. So I tried to look up what type of beings that these could be through all, you know, channels and stuff, you know, through what people have reported in the past and stuff like that. And, you know, I don't know if this is right or not, but they could have been, it's a possibility that they could have been blue avian, but how do we really know for sure? Because there's a lot more planets in our star system, and the amount of beings that could be really out there is probably like way past the number that we actually think. So, I mean, it's a possibility that they're blue avians by that description with the clacking and the spikes on their heads, but who knows? You know, that's just a kind of a rough guesstimate of what they could be. So that was a pretty big deal that happened to me. So after that, then a lot more things started happening, you know, on a weekly or daily, but there's more stories that are prior to that too that I didn't really think too much of. Sorry about my cat there, but I wanted to share this one just to start out, and then all my other stories that I got. Unfortunately, a lot of these ones I didn't write down. I wish I had have, but now I got some stuff and a little bit more time, so I'm going to try and keep a log of all this stuff that comes to me, and through communication. And if you guys have any similar experiences like this, feel free to put it in the comments. If you want to share your story or something like that, you know, this stuff, you know, it's not too easy to talk about, or at least in the past it wasn't, but with everything that's going on today, I think it might be a little bit more free expression to talk about it, I think. So anyways, I'll check you guys later on the next story. Thanks a lot for watching.